expectations a small hair. In the past, the blue cards have not felt like they were worthwhile addition to Black Green Rock. This build is trying a very small blue splash for Snapcaster Mage in the main deck, as well as Unmoored Ego and then some counter spells on the sideboard. And then subtly here, while it's not technically a blue card, I actually think Creeping Torpid's a pretty big upgrade for this archetype. I think this is one of the better two-color creature lands that exists in the format, and I think Hissing Quagmire is one of the worst, so this is a big upgrade over Hissing Quagmire. Looks like by time what's up, so it seems like a good idea for more Bezo bucks. Gazni, thank you for re-upping for the 5th month in a row. I appreciate that. Welcome back. This list is less. So if this doesn't feel good, I've got one more iteration I want to try. So we're going to try this, which is basically the Black Green Rock shell that I've been playing with Snapcaster Mage, the blue card splashed in. And then I think the last thing I want to try, if this doesn't feel worthwhile, is I want to try basically a blue-black control deck. Logan Nettles has played a blue-black list a little bit, along basically like blue-black splash trophy, basically. Hey, Kyle. Yeah, welcome to a live one. Yeah, the weather's been great. We actually took the kids out to a outdoor festival thing this morning. That was a good time. Thank you so much for streaming here the past 4 months while I've been subbed. Your stream is wonderful. I'm sorry I haven't been able to catch you live more recently. Well, Brian, thank you for keeping up the support. I'm glad you enjoyed the YouTube stuff. Thanks for re-upping for the 4th month in a row. And Just Kai Boy, thank you for the brand new Twitch Prime. I appreciate that. Stream Decker's down. It was up 30 seconds ago. Looks like it's up here. Looks like it's up there. There's a link to it in the donation queue document as well. It is not on Stream Decker. Asim, thank you for the 11-month resub there. Real close to picking up a sword. Let's talk about this hand here for a hot second. Is this hand good enough? It's really awkward, right? Like, I need another land, and I don't really have anything for these Snapcaster Mages to do. I'm on the draw. I'm on the play here. Yeah, I'm gonna mulligan this on the play. I think this hand just, like, needs too much. It, like, that hand, like, needs another land, and it needs a spell or two for the Snapcaster Mages. I'm gonna bottom this. I have Thoughtseize and Collective Brutality here. I'd kind of like to just, like, draw a land. Honestly, drawing land wouldn't even be bad with this hand, just so we can, like, go untap Tarmogoyf and untap Liliana. Alright, it looks like we are actually playing against Black Green Rock here, so I think the correct line of approach with this hand that my opponent currently has here is I want to take their Fatal Push and then just, like, hope to draw a threat off the top and then run them down with that. I thought it did it automatically on mobile. I know on desktop you have to, like, refresh your browser page. What's going on, Bloom? The 26 land seems interesting. I actually cut a Mana Dork to put a Path to Exile in the main as a 5th removal spell, but maybe I should just cut a Mana Dork and put in a 4th Gavany Township. The 4th Gavany is, like, definitely something I kind of want in the 75. Hey, President Jeff, I was just taking you out with past Jeff. Do you really think we need 5 creature lands? I feel like only 3 or 4 would be better as tap lands are not great in Modern. So, it's a trade-off, right? While I agree with you that tap lands are not great in Modern, like, look at how many lands this deck is playing compared to other mid-range decks. Like, if you look at a lot of people are greedy and only play, like, 20, 22, 23, or 24 lands in their decks. And by... what's the word I'm searching for? So I got kind of punished here because they drew this. By basically, I'm just playing more lands than most people play and then playing more creature lands to supplement that. Yeah, honestly, this type of match is part of the reason I'm heavily... it's not strictly better play because mana efficiency is a big deal. I know that my Collective Brutality is likely to hit. So, yeah, we're gonna trophy this Liliana. We're gonna attack her ass to the wall, along with the rest of my trophies. Um, this doesn't feel good, but it's the play. Sorry, to finish my thought, this style of mirror match is one of the reasons why I'm considering playing the tokens deck in Columbus, because if black-green mirrors are even somewhat popular, they generally aren't the type of match that gives you a lot of room for play. They're the type of match that's basically just like this feel bad, I ripped something off the top dick punching contest. It's just like pretty uninteresting in my opinion. So, like, the thing to remember, especially about the Abzan list, is, like, it's 26 lands, but, like, a bunch of the lands do stuff. So, it's not like you just, like, have a bunch of cards that don't do anything. Do I want to snap Inquisition here? What could they be holding that they wouldn't have played? If they had a Liliana, they would have played it. If they had a Goyf or a Bob or a Tracker, they probably would have played it. They could be holding, like, a push. And, like, if they have a push, I kind of don't mind taking it out of their hand. This is probably just going to miss, but I also just, like, don't mind having a 2-1 in play. Like, they have so many discard spells that, like, there's a chance they, like, force my 2-1 out of my hand next turn anyways. I could also be, like, taking away a discard spell from them. It's just a land, which is also... I feel like we're pretty likely to miss with this here, but I also feel like they have a lot of cards that kind of force me to play the Snapcaster Mage out anyway, so it's just like, let's go. And they have Scavenging Ooze to invalidate it, so... That is incredibly unfortunate. And this is, you know, again, kind of highlighting one of the drawbacks of playing Sultai over straight black-green rock is here I have a card that I can't cast. Shadows Fall, thank you for the 3-month resub. I appreciate that. Thanks for the quarter of a year. Welcome back. In general, the Magic Online format is a lot more fluid than the paper metagame. And the primary reason for that is it is much easier to buy and sell decks on Magic Online, and you don't take the loss on Magic Online that you take in paper. So in paper, when you buy list a deck, you buy list it for, you know, 50% the value. On Magic Online, you can get 80 or even 90% value out of these decks a lot of the time. So it's much easier to change decks on Magic Online. Like the Bridgevine craze on Magic Online is like a great example of like something that happened on Magic Online because it was like this hot new thing that people thought might be busted, but then didn't translate at all to paper because once people played with it a bunch, they realized that like this is just another thing in Modern. It's just like everything else basically. Nivik, I try to not build stipulation decks as bad versions of other things with bad cards in them. I tagged you on Discord yesterday with a list that we're going to play. It's pretty close. I think I changed like 2 or 3 cards, but there's a core. The core of the list is on Discord in the Modern channel. If you look for your tag in there. I think we're pretty dead here. Yeah, I am playing Modern for my team in Columbus. I'm gonna shock this in, and I'm gonna play this. I'm gonna down tick her, and pick the Snapcaster Mage back up. Like, this means they could rip a discard spell and take the Snapcaster Mage out of my hand, but I think this is worth doing because otherwise, if I just plus her, they're gonna hit her down to 1 with the Treetop Village, and I won't get value out of it. It's really sweet, Orcish Veteran. That seems like an awesome pickup. The number of people who regularly, wow, they came to play. And this is the other thing about mid-range matchups like this. It's just like, who wants to go bigger or go greedier a lot of the time. That is a Nissa Vital Force in the main deck. And I think if you really want to like dance on the mirror and dance on blue-white control, Nissa Vital Force is a great way to do it. That card is fantastic. She's very good. Alright, so I think I want these. I'm going to cut these Thoughtseizes. I think I'm actually leaving the Inquisitions in here. I don't really have anything else in my sideboard. I'm not a huge fan of discard spells post-board in these rock-style mirror matches, but I also just like don't really have anything else I want to sideboard in. They do have magic cards, so surgical is a possibility. You can flex some of the planeswalkers. I could definitely see an argument that like Liliana the Veil isn't super amazing right now, and I could see flexing some of her out. I could also see that's super awkward. I want a third land, but it needs to be black. I could see flexing some of the Collective Brutality. No, that's not even true. Amethy, thank you for the 6-month resub there. I appreciate that. Welcome back. So I think Negate is worse than Inquisition because Liliana the Veil is a player on both sides in this matchup, which means that our discard spells get quite a bit worse. I guess I could Collective Brutality here. Maybe I'm just supposed to Brutality. I don't know. Brutality kills a Tireless Tracker if they wanted to play it. Of course, if I would have Brutality'd last turn, I could have potentially Snap Brutality this turn, which is an interesting proposition. Oh god, we are so dead. We are so unbelievably dead. Well, we tried. That is a handful of Magic the Gathering cards. Yeah, I think this is. Yeah, I'm gonna move along here. Colleague Tots worked fine for you. I wonder if it was a server side issue. Colleague Tots was definitely locking up matches at one point. This is Sultai, Temur, and Esper. The three color combinations that people desperately want to be good in Modern. Yeah, that's really the God's honest truth, Gasney. It's just like the biggest thing about Magic Online is that like you don't have to wait. You don't have to wait to play your next match. So like in paper, obviously I'd slog through that match, especially in the in a tournament that I cared about. But here online, we're pretty unlikely to win. We might as well just like roll on to the next one. What's going on, Cannon? Thanks for the support. I appreciate that. Thoughtseize, Inferno. Is this a Modern deck? Do you think there's Dark Rituals in their deck? This must be a Steamkin deck, right? Whatever that new punk is. Not Griselbrand. Griselbrand does not play that many rituals. I feel like it's got to be whatever that new card is, right? I mean, I feel like our hand's going to be absurd against a combo deck here, right? Yeah, like I get to go Inquisition you, Thoughtseize you, Thoughtseize you, Snap Inquisition you. Just like take all of your toys away. If we don't win this game, I'm not sure I can play more matches because this just feels like it could be something weird like Waste. I did say the opponent was 1 and 2. I'm gonna fetch a basic forest here because I would like to kind of preserve my health total because I don't know if my opponent has like a backup aggressive plan or not. Obviously, they're playing a brew. So I said it was close to that, Nivik. I actually just changed it to Sandstep Citadel. So there's no fetches in that deck, so it doesn't make sense to play Murmuring Bosk. I ended up putting 4 Sandstep Citadel. Just as like, because you just like, you really can't play fetch lands with Leonin Arbiter, and I want to be able to cast my spells. Are we having fun yet, opponent? $100. 100 American dollars. For 100 American dollars, I'll play most things that aren't Lantern Control. Don't you see you're just helping them enable their tutor, right? I mean, I'm a good guy. I'm a team player. Evening, Gabroth. Yeah, we're just gosh. God bless America, my country. 'Tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. It is 1,000 American dollars for Lantern Control on this stream. That is a Bedlam Reveler. Okay, so let's, I think at this point, I'm going to take Infernal Tutor, and then I'm going to snap Thoughtseize this Bedlam Reveler. What if the first just like 5 spells I played were basically discard spells? I just like kept punching you repeatedly. Is it good for you, opponent? It's good for me. We are playing 8-rack with Snapcaster Mages. Dio52, thank you for the 7-month resub there. I really appreciate that. Thanks for keeping me employed here. I mean, that's one of the many reasons why Snapcaster Mage is good, right? Like, it's a card that when you want more discard spells, it's more discard spells. You want more fatal pushes, it's more fatal pushes. Yeah, I think, like I said, I think if this doesn't feel reasonable, and I have low expectations with this, I just wanted to make sure we tried it. I think a blue-black control splashing Assassin's Trophy is probably the last Sultai thing that I want to try out. I really feel like Assassin's Trophy could potentially solve issues that blue-black control has, just like answering problem permanence, so it seems like it's worth testing there. Oh yeah, anybody that thinks Mission Briefing is close to Snapcaster Mage just doesn't understand why this card is good. It's not particularly close. You're looking for this one, Pandazed? You know what the stat line of Creeping Tar Pit is? That's great. You are not wrong. Pyromancer's Ascension. This is probably a Bedlam Reveler. Infernal Tutor. This is probably fetching Bedlam Reveler, I'd assume. Yeah, there is an updated JAC list in the queue, I believe. We had JAC in the queue before, and uh-oh, that's scary. Mission Briefing, I think Thing in the Ice is exactly the type of card that could potentially want Mission Briefing instead, but it's pretty specific. Alright, so you're dead to this Creeping Tar Pit, which they recognize. Ah, the classic Bedlam Reveler Arid Mesa. A true Moto staple. In blue-white. I don't think that's true either, Fert. Yeah, the fact, and like, it's not even the clock that Snapcaster Mage that gives him blue-white that's so important. It's the fact that in blue-white, the Snapcaster Mage and Ambush Viper is really good in that deck, right? I have no idea what our opponent's deck is doing, but I'm going to assume that Damping Sphere is good against a deck full of Pyretic Rituals. Just gonna go out on a limb over here and make that assumption. The most important thing you can realize as a maturing adult in life is that not everybody is worth your time to reason with or have a discussion with. And that doesn't mean you should be rude to people, but it's okay to walk away from a conversation. Just be like, you know what? You have a good time. You do you. I'll be over here. Because I don't really know what their deck is doing, I think Ego is probably a bad idea to make happen. Where did my deck queue go, by the way? This is the problem with having 3 monitors. Sometimes things get lost on them. It's like, which taskbar is this on again? Parasol, apparently, I just resubbed for the 6th month in a row. Won't be here for long, but wanted to be sure I did it before I forgot the month was over. Thank you for the half a year, Parasol. I really appreciate that. Thank you for the continued support and keeping me employed here. I'm gonna be live tomorrow too, Jat. So I'm planning to do a minimum of 8 hours tomorrow. So that should be 5 or 6 decks. And if I have a good viewer count, I'm gonna run late tonight and long tomorrow as well. I fully intend to try and capitalize on pre-release weekend and sweet new toys. Tomorrow I plan to start about 9 a.m. Just like do my normal time slot, like 9 to 5 or so. 9 to 5 cornfield time. Tonight I'm planning to at least 3 decks, maybe 4. No, you should never board in Damping Sphere against elves. Yeah, I think let me rephrase. Assassin's Trophy is as good as I've been advertising it to be. I think there are a lot of people out there that like to generate hype and say silly things. I think Assassin's Trophy is super playable, and it's going to be a reasonable format staple, but much like Fatal Push, anybody expecting it to do something absurd just like doesn't understand how Modern works. I tweeted the cat deck last night. You can find it there. I'm going to play Tarmogoyf this turn. I think it's... These could be famous last words, but I think it's pretty unlikely we die on turn 3 here from no board. And I would rather get my clock into play than cast a Collective Brutality this turn. Ensnaring Bridges should be good against elves, especially if you can get your hand empty, Isabus. I am saying it is still... I am going out on a limb and confirming it is still safe to play permanents in Modern. Made 3 months. Can't wait till I'm cutting down salt farmers as a soldier of Hoaglandia. Salt farmers. That is a great way to put it. We've made 4 goblins. What a powerful, powerful play. Do I need 2 Assassin's Trophies in my hand? I feel like I don't need 2 Assassin's Trophies in my hand, right? Can I kill one of these? I think I'm gonna kill one of these. I think I should have played this tap this turn and then just fetch basic island next turn. It's probably what I should have done. No, we haven't, Burgle. And like I said, I feel like you're just joining us. I said when we started this league that my expectations were very low. I would be surprised if this is good. My last thing I want to try for Sultai is, the last thing I want to try for Sultai is green, or blue-black splashing trophy, but we'll see. Perfect. We actually lost to straight green black rock in the first match, and like, we got fielded in ways that made our mana awkward, which was like quite justice. On sideboard options, I think green-black has plenty of great sideboard options for basically every matchup now. With the printing of Assassin's Trophy, I think you have plenty of tools in just those 2 colors and artifacts to cover all the bases you want to cover. I think the only place straight green-black has a hard time. The way it's currently configured is against Valakut decks explicitly, and probably just red-green Valakut Titan at that. Shadow benefits more from Trophy since it's a deck with good threats that can abuse the tempo swing of Trophy. I don't understand why you would think that. I think like your aggro deck giving your opponents more mana to deal with your aggro things, that seems really bad actually. Keep in mind, Nivik, that Abzan tokens and your cat deck have 100 points behind them, so even if someone wants to cut in something else, it's going to get paired after Abzan tokens. I'm referring to the Through the Breach deck. Yeah, some iterations play Through the Breach, not all of them though. So I assume we're getting Bedlam Rover next turn. They cast a Hellbent thing again. I miss lethal. I am aware that I missed lethal. Okay, I would like the record to reflect that I was reading chat and I didn't count. I would like everybody to be aware of the fact that I could have discarded this to drain them. Assassin's Trophy's price is not going to tank because it's overhyped. It's going to tank because it's a rare card and people are impatient and the supply will always increase to match the demand. Will always increase while demand's not going to increase that much. Which one? Quantum, are you this Sultai mid-range deck? This one here at 64? Is this one you, or are you someone else? But if you wanna email me from the email that I okayed your list from, I'm okay to swap that for something else since we have so much Sultai right now. You're the one in 11th? Okay, perfect. You want to change that to blue-black thing you said? Perfect. We'll swap that now. I think we just had a thing though too. Knights, thank you for the 13 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Of course you can get a free timeout. Peace, aim. All right, we're 1-1 after beating some kind of Storm Brew. Yeah, this is a hand. Smells like Teen Spirit. Put my big scary Tarmogoyf into play. So I showed them off on stream a little bit previously, but we're gonna have Hoglandia merch up sometime soon that has the Jester logo on the front and the back says message deleted on it. I think we're gonna have a couple different. We're gonna have one with that, and then we're gonna have a couple with random quotes of just random crap that I say fairly frequently. We have a copious amount of Doomblades here. Trophy is a playable removal spell. To temper expectations, it is a playable card. Sweet AF. Yeah, they look great, Immortal. I'm excited to get those and send some out. That's a Drog Skull Captain. Oh, land. Untapped land. Please. Please, untapped land. Although Trophy's looking a good bit worse here against Mausoleum Wanderer, huh? Hot take. Blood Moon was already bad in Modern. Yeah. Yes, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. It's playable. It's passable in Mardu because you can loot it away when it's not otherwise good. Yeah, I'd agree with that, Chuckle Girl. I think that's true to a degree. This is a Rattle Chains. I'm probably just going to concede. Yeah. Too far gone here. You'll note that there are 2 copies of Languish in my sideboard, which I think I'm going to be moving to in Green Black Rock as well. This matchup is one of the reasons why I really like Languish right now. I think it's getting around Selfless Spirit is pretty valuable. When will I be playing Blue-Red Tempo next on stream? So if you go to my website, there is a deck queue page. You can see all of the decks that we are going to be playing upcoming on stream on that deck queue page. I think I'm going to trim a Tireless Tracker here. I think it's just a little bit too slow. With Snapcaster Mage, this deck has more top end. And like, one of the things I think that a lot of people don't recognize with Snapcaster Mage, we're trying to shove it into a deck like this, is like, you can see how I've kind of organized my curve here with Snapcaster Mage in the 3 slot. It's also a 4-mana spell a lot of the time too. So this card takes the curve of this deck and drags it up a bit, which is awkward in a lot of matches in Modern, because a lot of the matches that Green Black Rock loses, it loses because people get under it. And my player rewards damnations to cut all of them. Please keep in mind, if you are new to my chat, if you want to present a dissenting opinion to what's been said here on stream, you need to articulate yourself and be specific as to why you feel differently. Otherwise, you will get a 10-minute break. Please read the chat rules if you have not already. Good suggestion. I've literally never cast Ego. It's there for the big mana decks, and we've not played against any. I didn't come to read the chat. That's fine. You've given me $5 a month for a while, so you can get a do-over. What percentage of the time is Languish just damnation? A non-zero amount of the time. But it's also, sometimes it's just Plague Wind, which is like very, very good. A big fan of Plague Wind, personally. Listen, Oglandia works just like every other developed nation, and screw the rules, I have money is very much a thing everywhere else in the world. Gosh, Drog Skull Captain is such a beating for fair decks. Such a tough card. I'm excited to cast Ego against Trot and still lose. There's somebody who's played a lot of mid-range in Modern. Yeah, and like Panza's a deck where Blood Moon's better than every other deck because like Panza can destroy their basic lands, making Blood Moon even better. And even there, it tends to be a little lackluster. Hina, thank you for the 2-month resub there. Thanks for re-upping those Bezo bucks this way. I appreciate the continued support. Yeah, just Languish getting to kill Mantis Riders with a +1 counter on them and killing Hollowed One's a big deal. Have I ever said things you'd time/ban others out because of my sub/crown you let it slide? I don't think so. Usually I point that out. I've definitely said on more than one occasion, if you didn't have that icon next to your name, you'd be taking a break right now. And a lot of the time, people in this chat take that with good stride. They're like, time me out. And time me out then. And I'm like, God bless. I let you know. Yeah, exactly, Big Daddy. Modern, we say that pretty constant on the stream, right? Like modern is a format it's about tempo. It's not about card advantage. It's about getting on the board and impacting the board. And, you know, these cards like Blood Moon that are just like hoping your opponent doesn't do anything tend to leave a lot to be desired in that department. You can find some of them in the deck queue. I don't think I posted the Catastrophe deck, though. I think that deck is just on my Twitter and the Discord. Nice, MTG Lord. Yeah, the 4-color Geist deck is really sweet. How do you feel about Fatal pushing the Snowball Hierarch? Just as like a Spellcaller me bro moment. No, I think if they're like playing Spellcaller here, I'm kind of happy with that, right? I've got like a small selection of playable cards in there, Nivik. If they go Drogskull Captain, Phantasmal Image my Drogskull Captain, I'm probably dead here. Chad Nauseum. How have I never... How is that not a thing? I feel like we've all let down... We've been let down as a community. The fact that has not become a thing as of yet. Like, why is that not a thing? So, what I'm about to do is something that you generally shouldn't do. I'm going to try and induce a misplay in my opponent. So I know they have Spell Queller here. I know this Fatal Push isn't going to kill this Drogskull Captain. Hopefully my opponent doesn't know that. They do, we're dead. So, if I guess I could trophy it and then like hope to rip the land and Languish. Yeah, maybe I'm just supposed to trophy there. I don't know. It's just like if they have another Lord, we just get like locked out of doing anything. I guess I should trophy there in response. I was thinking, so in my head, I was like, I have to trophy this, otherwise I'm not going to be able to Languish away the Spell Queller. But that's not actually true, because I'd Languish and kill both Lords. I don't know where my brain went. I don't know where my brain went, but I definitely could have won with the Languishes there, assuming they had nothing. I made a couple of changes after I posted the list, but not many. playable. People are right. I should just put Assassin's Trophy as playable in the stream title. But then people also don't read the stream title, so it's probably fine. Alright, Amulet Titan. Looking for a clock here. Inquisition's not stellar in this matchup. Yeah, I had someone send in a large donation. Rabbids, thank you for the brand new Twitch Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome. Thanks for shipping your Bezo bucks this way this month and keeping me employed here. I love this is the second person we've played against on Magic Online who has had Sakura Tribe Elders in their Amulet deck because SCG typoed the wrong Sakura into the deck list from their classic top 8. It's there is a deck list on SCG's website that has 4 Sakura Tribe Elder in it. Those are supposed to be Sakura Tribe Scout. The person entering the deck list auto-completed the wrong one in their application. Of course you can get a timeout, Stanton. Again, for anybody wondering why this card is in my opponent's deck, that is the reason. Like lemmings off a cliff, chat. Like lemmings off a cliff. Filthy net deckers getting what they deserve. All right, there isn't much of a difference between like 14 and 12 here, so I'm just gonna go ahead and snap. So they don't have Gemstone Mine, they don't have this, they have one card I don't know. I think I'm supposed to Thoughtseize here, even though it's pretty small chance that they have Titan, because if they have Titan, I really want to take it. Owl Mug, thank you very much for that brand new Prime support. I appreciate that. Thanks for keeping me employed here this month. Welcome. Do I trophy the bounce land to run them out of basics? It's possible I was supposed to trophy the bounce land this turn because, like, they could transmute the Teleria West. I can see that being correct. Let's see what they do. If they don't transmute the Teleria West, I'll probably trophy this. I think it's correct for them to not transmute this, though, because they'd prefer... they'd prefer to, not get it taken by Inquisition. You hate the hats! But everything's better with hats, Nivik. So I'm gonna draw a step, kill this growth chamber, I think. This is the 4th match. We died to Green Black Rock, and then I made a mistake against Spirits, but weren't guaranteed to win even if I didn't make the mistake. Hey Jeff, hey chat, I've been catching your stream on YouTube for the past 4 months and failed to notice Twitch doesn't automatically renew my subscription. Here's the Bezo bucks you've been cheated out of. I appreciate that support, Nerf. Thank you very much. It's very generous of you. Thanks for keeping me employed here. 4 months. How much is that in memes? It's a very long time in meme, Slacker. Thank you for the 4-month resub. I appreciate that. Welcome back. The Candyman can, 'cause he mixes it with love and makes the world taste good. Do 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 do. It's a good command, Immortal. So we're dead. It's possible that trophying, yeah, maybe trophying, maybe I got so caught up in like stone raining them being cute that I should have just like left that and then like trophied, saved the trophy to kill the first Titan. The problem is like the first Titan gets another Titan. Although, excuse me, they were greedy and got Slayer Stronghold here. So if I would have held my trophy, I would have been able to trophy this Titan and it wouldn't be attacking me now, which would be ideal for me. No, I'm just not doing Legacy at all anymore, Just Guy Boy. Only for very large donations. It's just not popular enough content to be worth doing. What do you think Green Black Rock versus Amulet Titan is? I think it's okay. It's okay for Rock. Both Damping Sphere is pretty good here. This will actually be a matchup where you get to bring an Unmoored Ego, which is sweet. Denerf Worf, thank you. Thank you for re-upping that Prime. I appreciate it. And for the bits as well. I think Vraska looks sweet in Standard. I don't think she's going to be particularly appealing in Modern, though. I think a 4-mana Planeswalker like her that needs other cards to generate card advantage just isn't good enough. Kind of interesting that they didn't get a way to insulate themselves from Liliana of the Veil here. So that's a potential out. We, however, did not draw that, so we are dead. I don't play competitive Magic, but I want to start. I know it will be expensive. What questions should guide my deck building for Modern if I want to build? Like, so, honestly, especially if your goal is to be competitive, the smartest way to approach deck building in Magic is to build on the shoulders of the people that have come before you. There's a next to 0% chance that anything you want to try in Modern potentially hasn't already been tried by somebody else. And that's not to say that whoever else has tried it already did it perfectly or successfully, but the correct thing to do whenever you're starting with a deck idea in Modern is do a Google search, look for existing data, find people who have already played that archetype previously, and try and build and expand on what they do, or start with what they did and try and learn maybe why they came to the conclusions that they've come to, and then build from there. There's nothing wrong with building on what people have already done who have come before you. Actually, I think I want this Maelstrom Pulse. They bring in Hornet Queen in this matchup usually, so that's a good way to kill her. This seems reasonable. And then my generic piece of advice for building decks or changing cards or tuning past that is, in general, playing individually weak cards in Modern is a trap. You want your individual card quality to be high in general. I think because I have Unmoored Ego, I don't really want Surgical. I think Surgical's a little bit narrow. Like, I don't have a ton of good ways to, like, get Titan into their graveyard. Like, I have 3 Thoughtseizes and 2 Disdainful Strokes. Like, I can't really reliably discard a Primeval Titan. I'm afraid of deck decking because I don't want to get trolled because I put Steve's in my Titan build. So that's one that's pretty rare. And 2, if you're gonna net deck, do it properly. Look at a bunch of different resources. Don't just like grab the first deck list you come across and copy paste it. What do I mean individually weak? I mean playing cards like Leonin Arbiter that have synergy. In general, synergy decks tend to not be good because the synergy gets picked apart in Modern. Modern's a format where everybody is either trying to be very linear and not interactive at all, or extremely interactive. The kind of mopey, middle-of-the-road decks are very bad in this format because this format either demands you go fast or interact fast. There's no really good mid-ground there. That is double Amulet Pact Titan. All right, well, I'm taking the Summoner's Pact, and then I'm going to take this Titan, and we're going to hope for the best. Those are synergy decks. So, again, when I say in general, I don't mean never. What I mean is in most cases, or many cases, they are not ideal. So there are definitely a number of decks that I would consider synergy decks that are very playable in Modern. And like the Hardened Scales deck and the Affinity decks in general are great examples of those. Like, you know, Memnite and Arcbound Worker, those aren't very powerful cards, right? But those decks are more the exception rather than the rule. Sure, you could definitely argue that in Magic in general, synergy decks tend to struggle. Basically, the question you have to ask yourself for is my synergy deck playable is the payoff I'm getting worth the power level downtick in my cards when I don't have my payoff completely together? I think the blue-black Thing deck is very reasonable. I think the blue-black Thing deck's a great example of a deck that's just like playing all reasonable Magic cards. The average card quality in that deck is very high. Beat Spirits feels okay. I'm hard-pressed to say it's not good because of the results that it's had. It's had a couple of results at this point. At large tournaments, but I personally am not a huge fan of it. I think playing tempo decks without the card Lightning Bolt feels really bad. Now, Elves is like a critical mass aggro deck rather than a synergy deck. The Elves deck has a bunch of cards that basically all do the same thing and are very interchangeable. Synergy decks are decks that like have very specific combo pieces, like Devoted Company or Visceracy or cards like that, Vizier of the Remedies. So I'm gonna tap out here to play this Tireless Tracker because I need to put a clock into play. And if they have a Titan to kill me, they have a Titan to kill me. Yeah, Hardened Scales, I think, is a good example of a synergy deck. Synergy decks, in my mind, are decks that have very specific cards that don't have redundant replacements, basically. What's my personal favorite deck to play Modern? Probably Blue-Red Tempo. I don't know, the Abzan Tokens deck is, like, really grown on me. I like the play patterns in that deck a lot. I enjoy it's got some interactive elements, but it's also got a lot of play to it. And if they play a Primeval Titan here, I'm dead. So there's no combo turn. I'm just gonna concede. Oh, we're actually dead to Azusa 2 here because they have a Teleria West in their hand, and the Simic Growth Chamber makes 12 mana. So we are very dead. They're gonna click a bunch, but we're going to die. Well, Today is a good example of if you set your expectations low, it's difficult to be disappointed with your results. I came in expecting almost nothing, and I wasn't disappointed. Honestly, I think I just every time we try Sultai, I just come away thinking the same thing. Man, my mana was more awkward than green-black, and the power level I gained from these blue cards was not worth it. Honestly, I think the biggest reason why these are kind of awkward is that Snapcaster Mage is one of the better cards that you could potentially be gaining. And Snapcaster Mage is another card that basically costs 3+ mana. And Modern is just not a format that's kind to playing this many 3+ mana spells. And I don't think that you really want to cut any of these other 3-drops. I think these other 3-drops are like all better than Snapcaster Mage. Had some questions there in chat. Do we know when the arena overlay is coming to MTGO? Probably never. I don't know. It's possible. Like, the arena overlay isn't a Wizards thing. That's a community-driven thing. And I have no idea if they have an interest in making it happen for Magic Online, or what the technical difficulties are for having that happen. What's the name of the Linux distribution that I've worked on? Bodhi Linux. And Arena before the open beta worked on Wine, but the current open beta is crashing on startup in Wine, and I haven't had time to figure out why. Damping Sphere makes the bounce land tap for colorless. It doesn't stop them from bouncing things, but it makes them tap for colorless. So yeah, so the TL, again, for the wrap up here, wasn't impressed, felt bad. We're going to try one. We've got one more Sultai build in the queue that I think is probably going to be built as blue-black splash trophy, but these green-based lists that are trying to lean into Tarmogoyf and stuff, they just really felt mediocre and unimpressive, whereas green-black rock felt very good. But does that include possibly getting your take and letting you guys like? Yes, definitely, Kepner's. In fact, for $50+ donation, so obviously 100 includes a $50+ donation. I am willing to build a deck or tune an existing deck for you. Keep in mind that if you're expecting me to put work in on a deck, I can't do it as a cut the line donation because I just have a personal rule where I don't build decks on stream. Building decks on stream is both frustrating for me as a streamer, and it generally results in a worse deck being built because I'm trying